The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com.
We were on the break!
With Nick Eatman, Brian Broaddus, Ambar Garcia, and Derek Eagleton.
It is Thursday, December 22nd, 2022, season 18, episode number 95. Welcome to the latest edition of The Break, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star, presented by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. And it is a snowy day here in North Texas. I was just telling somebody, like, we got Texas snow. Like, we got a little flurries, and everybody's like, ooh, do we get to go home? No, we're going to be fine. We'll be all right.
I was in here kind of show prepping it a little bit, and Beam walks in and goes, snowing out there. And I'm thinking, all right, cool, you know. I was thinking, like, maybe, you know, it's going to snow. It's like ice crystal things.
Yeah,
it's not
right.
even,
It's not really.
and I'm thinking, snow, but he's like a Chicago guy. He should.
Sideways. Like it
Well,
literally
it's
is
just
going
That's what he was
sideways.
saying, but to me,
Yeah,
it
it's
was
just
like
little-
I was
yeah.
like going, "That's just like ice crystals." I
Right.
mean, like it's not like Buffalo or Chicago or Kansas City out there.
You got your puffy vest on.
You know what? I was watching the video yesterday of our show. I always go back and listen to our show.
All
And-
22 of the show.
All 22 of the show.
All 44.
And I tell you what, I had my hoodie on yesterday. I looked like Jabba the Hutt. It was like this massive gray just sitting here. I'm like, God.
I just like the gray mane, though. I love that, man.
You know what? I
think
went on the
hope you'll
radio.
never cut that off.
By the way,
Doc Brown from
yeah, Back in the Future.
Right.
I used Ambar's question yesterday on the radio. They got a really good response about the offense. Could the defense be the offense
from last year.
from last
Yeah.
year? And that was thank you for giving me
you're
a
welcome.
segment yesterday and on our show on 105.3.
Checks in the mail.
Yeah, very, very good. Yeah. Buy you lunch, something like that. Yeah.
Producer.
Yeah, but anyway, that's you know, a lot of interesting things going on right now.
We
So,
did
a
get
lot of
some
fun.
interesting news last night. Cowboys, or the NFL, announced Pro Bowl for this year. Cowboys get 7 players. Zach Martin, Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, DeMarcus Lawrence, Tony Pollard, and Kavonte Turpin make the Pro Bowl squad. Are you surprised by any of those names?
Well, you are. I mean, how do you say Kavonte Turpin?
Kavonte Turpin.
I mean, well,
It's like a question mark.
that's my favorite one by far.
That's
I mean,
exciting.
It is.
Actually, right when we were starting the show, I just laughed to myself because I just thought about a training camp conversation that we didn't have, but let's say we did. We're standing out there. Oh, they brought this guy in, and you're like, he's going to make the Pro Bowl this year. It's like, how about make the team? Oh, he's going to make the team, and he's going to make the Pro Bowl. I mean, you'd be laughed at, the entire day, and and he's earned it, and you know, and I really believe he is an underrated weapon. I think he's a guy that really you have to be cognizant of, and just watch the way they punt it straight up in the air. He really doesn't get a lot of chances.
Yeah, it's interesting. If you're sitting there in Oxnard and you bring that kid in, and remember when we first saw him, we're going,
Yeah.
Is
somebody's kid out here?
Exactly. Whose kid's working the camp this year? You know, kind of a
looks
thing.
like Will McClay's son.
Yeah, right.
About that tall.
That, you know, you got to give the Cowboys pro personnel guys a lot of credit. You know, that's what you get. You know, you watch USFL tape and you kind of have an idea. You talk to coaches. You're like, you know, did they battle anybody for him? Or was this just a straight, let's go get the MVP of the USFL?
I know, right?
And he's a TCU Texas guy.
Yeah.
He probably that was a no-brainer.
Yeah,
for
I mean,
him. And they needed a punt return.
Yeah.
Well, and also, let's also be clear. I know, Brian, you had talked about it. I think you had said you talked to your gang of 7.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like teams didn't know of this guy.
No.
They didn't know of his talent. There
Yeah.
were things off the field that
Right.
steered all of them away, right?
Right. We had that discussion, and I was just kind of like, but, you know, pro personnel guys, I mean, that's, you know, whoever had the USFL, had that team, whatever, that guy gets a steak, you know? I mean, you're going out to Manny's in Minneapolis, and you're going to get the towers and all that stuff like that. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's to me, that's you know, Stephen Jones always comes on and we kind of laugh at him. I know, because he always goes, evaluation of personnel is always a 24/7 job. And you're like, yeah, it is. Okay. And then you see that and something like that. You go out and you get a guy in the summertime, and the next thing you know, he's a Pro Bowl. We had a similar thing happen in Green Bay with Desmond Howard. Desmond Howard was not, but Desmond Howard was a 5th overall pick.
Yeah, right.
But you still have where
Heisman
all of a sudden you go get him, he's on your team, and then by the end of the year, he's helping you win a Super Bowl. So, that's the kind of thing. That's scouts when they do their job. It's a brilliant thing.
Yeah.
Washington put out a really good video.
It was actually a really good video.
It was really, really good. Just a reaction of these, and I started thinking, oh, how would a video like that work for us? And I started going through how each player in my mind would react, and I just laughed when he came up to Turpin because he would have been he's just like a little kid. You talk to him, and he's like smiling and just he'll be like, oh, that's cool, man. Yeah. And just a smile. So I'm very, knowing his career and his background, I'm very happy for what he's been able to accomplish here. He's a guy that first time I saw him in person, I'm like, man,
don't get hit.
He's gonna get killed out there.
Yeah.
He's tiny and small.
Yeah.
So very, very happy for him. But I do know that a lot of people were surprised about DeMarcus Lawrence making the Pro Bowl. Are you guys surprised about that?
No, because he's on our show every Thursday, and we were pushing for that thing hard.
Well, y'all are working during that interview every week. I listened to it.
Oh yeah, we had
to get a good question to pull him out.
Yeah, we have a good one. Yeah, I'll tell you what's funny though about the Ron Rivera at the Commanders though. The thing with that, if it was Turpin, you bring him in and you kind of slow play it a little bit. He's probably thinking you signed Odell Beckham. He's probably thinking, oh, they're about to take my roster spot. Yeah. I mean, all of a sudden, hey, you made the Pro Bowl. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Kind of crazy.
I just, with him, more than anything, and you kind of mentioned it, but in today's world of where we are, you don't always get a second chance, especially when you go through some of the issues that he did and he went through and stuff that he put on himself. But to be able to get to the next side and keep fighting for his dream to be in the NFL and to get someone to trust him, and it was somebody at the USFL said, oh, let's put this guy out there, and then I'm sure the Cowboys did their homework and all that. It's just a remarkable story about a guy that just all you do is look at him and go, you're not an NFL player, and then to think of all the other stuff he's dealt with and to be here and and he's still not satisfied. I talked to him a week ago, and he goes, but I haven't taken one to the crib. That's all he says. Like, I haven't gone to the crib yet. Is what he's saying.
Yeah.
He hasn't returned one for a touchdown yet.
You know what? Do you feel like though that do they feel he's so valuable that they won't use him on offense? Because we were talking about when we went on bye. The show was like, hey, well, when you come back, they're going to have plans, and maybe they do.
I just don't know if they trust him to run the right route or what. I don't know.
See, that's what I don't know.
You didn't trust him to hand the ball to him. I just wanted to hand the ball to him on that last series of the Jacksonville game. Give me a reverse around the edge with him. I think that's 5 yards waiting to happen.
To be honest with you, at this point in the year, and this may be totally unfair, and you guys tell me if it is, I actually think over the last few games, it feels to me like he doesn't have the same amount of juice that he had early in the season. And I do wonder. I mean, this is a guy coming off of a USFL season.
Oh, he's played a lot of games.
Now deep into an NFL season.
Yeah.
I just wonder if he's running out of gas a little bit. And if that's the case, like I look at it and say more so, I just don't know if he still has that same level of juice he had earlier in the year. That's just my opinion. And it might be unfair, like I said, but that's just what I think I'm saying.
The thing that I kind of see is like, I think he's pressing. Yeah. I see a guy that's like, I haven't brought one back to the crib. Yeah. I got to find a way to change field position. I got to find, and then sometimes the ball ends up on the 18, and you're going, okay, I get it, bro. You can run. He's one of the best I've ever seen, really, when it comes to the blocking's going one way, and he decides to go the other way. He's going down on the freeway where it says wrong way. He is driving
and avoiding traffic, by the way.
He is driving his car as fast as he can while everybody over here is like, beep, 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 beep. He is running over here as fast as
By the way, don't try this at home.
Don't do that.
No, it's a bad idea.
I would challenge that about the running out of juice and stuff, just because I could see it if it was somebody that was getting in a lot of collisions every game and all that. You're a running back or whatever, but he really isn't. Getting a lot of hits like that. I mean, he's just a punt return, kick returner, and he only gets 3 or 4 a game. He's not getting hit in practice. So
yeah, but let's also remember it's also still just wear and tear on your body. And what I mean by that
smaller guy.
What I mean by that is you're still running. He's still running every day.
Scout team.
It's like you just think about the training that he's been through, all the training he's been through, and the work that he puts in during the week. That's still mileage. It might not be hits and collisions. It's still your body is going through this constant turnover of work, and not enough rest. And that's why the offseason is so important, I think. You have to replenish, and you have to give your body an opportunity to kind of heal itself.
Is he a free agent? He's one of the free agents. I'm sure they just got a 1-year deal out of him.
Yeah.
So,
was it 1 year?
Yeah. So that
I wish it would have been 2 or 3.
You probably could have got it. Too.
They've given 2-year deals to guys you're kind of like wish you hadn't given 2-year deals to before.
Yeah. Well, they'll have to make that one. Make that one work.
I say that because I think for him, backyard football with him and Tolbert running routes out there. I mean, learning the offense, understanding what's going on, getting a role there, getting some trust with Dak.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got to remember he probably got a lot of his stuff with Cooper Rush and
But going back to
D-Law though.
No, I was gonna say real quick with the whole mention of utilizing him on offense a little bit. I mean, we have seen them try just a little bit. In my opinion, not enough. But the times that they have tried, it just hasn't really worked out or been they've not gotten anything out of that. So I think that it hasn't worked to what they're intending to do, and then they're just kind of giving up on that rather than trying different ways to incorporate him and make it appear more of a weapon to defenses. But at this point of the year, I don't think they should include him on offense. Just keeping up, because I do agree with you, Derek. I don't think he's losing all the juice, but I do see a slight change in his game when he's out there on special teams. So I get what you're saying and what you're seeing too, because I kind of see that a little bit as well.
Yeah, I will be interested to see if we get to the playoffs and that becomes one of the wrinkles. And again, I don't necessarily need to even see him on a reverse or something. I just want to see, maybe a bubble screen. I just want to see situations where you get him out in space and where he can make a guy or two miss, and then he might be able to turn it into a big play.
Yeah.
I would like to see them try that a little bit, and I'm hopeful that maybe that's something that's one of their playoff wrinkles, right?
I think Nick's right though. On 1st and 10, you get in, you run that jet sweep to him in the Jacksonville game, and it's a 5-yard gain, and now you're 2nd and 5. Now you're playing. Now you're playing football.
Now you're playing.
Now you're not. Now you're not 2nd and 13.
Yeah.
You're now. Wow, it's like they ran a. Everybody's thinking it's going to be an inside, and then you hand the jet sweep and the ball, or you fake it inside and do the flip, and then everybody's crashing and all that. I mean, I don't know. I mean I'm surprised they haven't at least tried him on something after the bye. I felt like that's where coaches sit down and say, "Hey, we've got this guy, and we can but might think he's too valuable to throw out there."
I do want to mention the 2 other surprises. I think, or not surprises, but just kind of unconventional with Pro Bowl is Pollard, and then with Tank. I think with D-Law, it to me it shows me a little bit more respect, that I have a little bit more respect for the process of the Pro Bowl, because somebody's watching. Somebody's really saying, this is a really good football player. He's tied for 45th in the league in sacks. So that's not what it's about. It's about playing football, doing your job, and being and also, he did get 3 sacks on a Monday Night Football game, so maybe that helped. But I think it's because he's a really good player. That one was, to me, Turpin is my favorite one, but I really was happy for Tank. 3 years removed from the Pro Bowl to get back.
And let's remember, 2/3 of the vote are coaches, players. And so I do think that matters, because they know when they're going up against a guy, who are we spending the week thinking about? And who are the guys that we worry about? Who's the guy that keeps us up the night before the game thinking, man, we don't really. And I know Micah gets a lot of that credit, but I think DeMarcus Lawrence also gets a lot of that from other teams where they respect his game.
Yeah, he's a complete player. Yeah. I mean, you start to talk about guys that play the run and the pass, he's as good as they get.
I love that. Dorrance has 8 sacks. How many? There's a guy on some team out there that's got 9 sacks, 10 sacks. They're like, what? This guy, but I'm
Play the
glad
run a
that
little
they
bit
did it.
better, bro.
There you
Play
go.
the run.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to dive into this Philadelphia defense versus the Dallas offense. We'll do that when we come back. DallasCowboys.com radio.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
What do you call a group of grown men and women with their faces painted silver and blue who get together every week to share a 3-hour-long ritual of jumping, singing, and toasting Miller Lite and 10-gallon hats while yelling, "How about them Cowboys?" You call it Miller Time in Dallas. Here's to the Cowboys. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
When you build, you start with the foundation. And home ownership is a foundation of a stable future. The Bank of America Community Home Ownership Commitment has helped over 34,000 people lay the groundwork so far, with up to $10,000 towards your down payment or 3% of the purchase price, whichever is less. The satisfaction of owning your own place can become a reality. Visit bankofamerica.com/homeowner to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. Equal Housing Lender. Credit and collateral is subject to approval. Restrictions apply. This is not a commitment to lend.
Back to the break.
James Wright is your 2022 Cowboys Fan of the Year. Jimmy. He brings the spice to every Dallas Cowboys game. He now needs you to help him bring it to the Super Bowl. Vote for James to be given the ultimate title of NFL Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan, by casting your vote at NFL.com/Fan of the Year.
Captain Morgan is a fine product. It's just what's associated with my vision of it. It's not fun.
Welcome back. Second segment of the break, live from the SWBC Mortgage
Brian,
Studios.
you got a minute?
At the start.
I really don't, Coach.
This segment brought to you by
I'll never get that back.
blockchain.com.
Can we tell the story?
No.
We told it a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Hit the blockchain. Here we go.
Thank you. All right, good. All right, real quick, I do want to mention we were talking about Kavonte Turpin's contract. He did sign a 3-year deal with the Cowboys.
There you go.
$2.56 million that it was worth over 3 years. So Cowboys did a smart thing there, got him locked in. Now, real quick, I do want to give a little love to Big Dame out there on Twitter. He was one that kind of said, "Hey, by the way, you guys talking about it? It was a 3-year deal for Turpin."
When we were just saying, what is he going to say? No? I mean, like a 3-year deal. I mean, even though that meant nothing, if he would have sucked really bad in those couple games, and if he wouldn't have, when he went to L.A., that was like the greatest moment of his life there. Those 2-3 days we were in L.A. because he practiced well, made a couple of catches on offense. Then he played in the game, and he was ridiculous.
Yeah.
NFL's Instagram page changed their title to says "Do not kick to Kavonte Turpin."
Yeah.
That was like they changed their whole whatever screen is called. I don't know. Anyways, move on.
All right, let's jump in.
Director,
Yeah, that was funny. All right, let's jump in.
One of the most popular sites in the world, huh?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Let's talk about the Philadelphia defense versus.
Especially after you left. No, I'm just kidding.
Absolutely.
I I'm kidding. We still have him replaced.
I was about to say, that still is an open position. Not many people out there with that skill set.
I'll be laying on the couch one day, and Derek says, "Hey, man, you ever thought about this? You know anybody?"
Yeah.
Hey, wait, is it? No, never mind. Go ahead. Philadelphia Eagles.
Scout's notebook has been empty for a while.
It has.
Who do you want to know about this Eagles? You guys know about this defense,
Well, one of their
right?
9 pass rushers.
Yeah, I know. Well, let's start first with, like, we've already seen this team, obviously.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at this from Dallas's perspective, where do you find weaknesses on this defense?
Well, you're gonna likely get a draw with your right tackle against Hassan Reddick. That's a good start right there. When you start with Tyron Smith playing against Hassan Reddick, he's going to play the left, primarily the left rusher, pass rusher, whatever you want to call that over there. This with the way they play their front. It's still Fletcher Cox. It's still he's him and Hargrave. It's going to be a challenge inside on those guys to have to deal with your centers playing well, your left guards playing well. You got a Hall of Famer right guard. You hope that you can cancel out some stuff there. Where you might have to pay some attention is on the other side with Josh Sweat over there and Brandon Graham and guys like that, because I have a feeling they're going to try and overload that side and bring pressure from there and make Tyler and make McGovern and those guys have to deal with that stuff coming off the other side. And, okay, now it's about the backs. It's about Zeke and Pollard being able to kind of focus. Okay, we should be good everywhere inside me, but let's think about what's going on over here, because Josh Sweat's a really good rusher. He really, really is. And, he's long and he causes problems. He can get under you. It's just a matter of having to handle him in the pass rush if you're going to throw in the football. So they've got 2 really good linebackers with TJ Edwards and then Kazir White. I mean, these guys are super, super active in the way they play. They're around the ball a bunch. TJ Edwards is the middle linebacker. He's a little bit of a dirty player, too. He's kind of a grab you, twist you kind of a guy. He always gets in your face, but they're good at linebacker. The secondary, I think, is their strength for sure. And it's, with Darius Slay and then James Bradbury are the 2 in the secondary. Epps at safety is good. They've had some problems. Reed Blankenship, who starts at safety, has been a little bit nicked up. So we'll see how they play that. But I feel like overall the health of their defense is really good. They got Jordan Davis back. They have Ndamukong Suh. They have Linville Joseph as well. So they got big bodies inside that you're going to have to deal with on this team.
Yeah, you look at that defense. They are not giving up anything in the passing game.
Yeah.
And I thought when they lost their nickel corner, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, that maybe you might see a
Maddox.
A decline.
Yeah.
You have not.
No.
They have continued to be just as good. So my question for you is, like, how are they able to do that? Have you seen anything that's different in how they play defense without C.J. Gardner-Johnson?
Well, to me, it's still about those corners. They match up with you one-on-one, and they don't give you any space.
Yeah.
They make.
But can you take advantage of them in the slot now without?
Well, okay, this is where no, it's not, because Maddox was the guy that was primarily their starter, and then he got hurt, and then they had to put Gardner-Johnson in there, and then they got better with Gardner-Johnson, and now Maddox is back.
Okay.
So, no, we had on Michael Lombardi, my old buddy I used to work with the Eagles, and, he does a lot of things. And Michael thinks you can throw the ball on these guys if you can block the front. Mm-hmm. He feels like, though, he goes, if you can protect, he says, I feel, especially set against it when they want to play zone coverage stuff. Now, how much zone are they going to get in against you? They probably feel like you've got one guy that can really hurt you, and that would be CeeDee Lamb. So I don't know how much zone coverage these guys are going to want to play in this game. But Mike seems to think if you could protect the front, had him on yesterday on our show on 105.3, he says you could throw the ball on these guys if they play zone. And I'm like, Mike, I don't know how much zone. If you had guys that you, like I say, Lamb is like a guy that you're going to have to deal with. But who else are you going to have to deal with? Who are the others you're going to have to deal with? Is there anybody that just completely scares you? Not really right now. So I think that's the issue that the Cowboys are dealing with right now.
I'm not trying to get into a Micah, Parsons thing of how good are the Eagles and stuff like that. because they're really good. But if you look at their schedule, since the Cowboys game and the bye week, they have not played a team that's in the playoffs except for the Giants. And they did a nice job, and they went in there and beat them pretty good. But the other team, I guess Washington is in the playoffs right now.
They lost
to them. And so, just the Steelers, the Texans, Washington, the Colts, the Packers, they give up 33 points to Jordan Love as when after Rodgers went out in that game. So these teams, Tennessee, the Giants, the Bears, they don't throw the ball as well as I think the Cowboys do. So I think this is going to be their toughest test that they've faced since they faced the Cowboys the first time, and that was with Cooper Rush.
I'll throw this in, too. Throughout the season, they faced 3 teams that are in the top 10 in offense. All 3 of those teams they played in the first 4 weeks of the season: Detroit, Jacksonville, Minnesota. Jacksonville
had them down 14-0.
Yeah, but Jacksonville and Detroit, their offenses have come alive over the last second half of the season.
Absolutely.
They were not what they are now.
Detroit had 35 on them.
Yeah, but I'm saying, my point was, though, early in the season, that I don't think they were playing at the level that they're playing right now.
Well, they had 35.
Yeah, but you look at those 3 offense, but even with those points, I think they put up maybe under 200 yards passing.
Wow.
It was. They have not given up more than 239 yards passing this season. Like they are holding teams to literally nothing through the air, and that's where I'm kind of just looking at. I'm trying to figure out, is this because of their personnel, or is it because, as you said, of the opponents that they face? They really haven't faced high-powered offense.
That's an amazing stat when you factor in that they're 13-1 and they're blowing out a lot of teams.
Yeah,
which means sometimes passing yards just get racked up.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
Well, they're in a situation where their offense is that good. Where their defense is good, but they benefit because their offense puts a lot of pressure on people. Me personally, I when dealing with this, I'm trying to figure out, okay, where do you attack? Where do you attack this defense? And the Cowboys, if going back and looking at the game, they had a little bit of success running the football.
Yeah,
so
and they've given up some rushing yards.
And that's where I'm kind of thinking, well, maybe it's going to turn into one of these games. I think you're better on the offensive line right now. I really do. And I know that Steele has done a really good job as a run blocker, but I think you're stronger on the right side. You know what? And Hassan Reddick and these guys and the linebackers, White and Edwards. Let's see how physical you want to get with these guys running the ball downhill on you.
I was hoping for more than a draw at the right tackle spot with Tyron Smith. You said a draw between him and Reddick.
It's a pass because Reddick can rush the passer.
I'd like to win that though with Tyron. No,
but I'm just saying if you wanted to cancel out one of their better players.
Right.
Okay.
The point is he's not going to kill you.
He's not going to kill you because I have a feeling that Reddick pass rushing against Steele would be a hard matchup for Steele.
Yeah.
He would play. He'd probably be 2 or 3 that he would really struggle with, but I don't think that Tyron Smith is going to struggle with Reddick in this game.
This is the game where I think is the biggest difference between Cooper Rush and Dak, because they're going to bring pressure, and I think when Cooper Rush felt pressure or feels pressure, he's not always making a play. He made some where guys right in his face, but he's not going to scramble out and dip around and spin and make a play over here. And that's where I think Dak's ability to scramble and get out of things and extend the pocket is going to help more than the kind of not a sitting duck, but he stands in there, he kind of makes the throw. He's not going to improvise like Dak does.
I was trying to look up because yesterday on our show, our Somos Cowboys podcast, some of the guys on there were mentioning, and I hadn't not seen this on social media, but how the Eagles, some of their players were recording Christmas song or something like that.
Yeah, they recorded a Christmas album.
But when was that?
It's been about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I'm like, okay, because I'm thinking,
Jason Kelsey and those guys did it a while back.
But it's not even this week. But they were making it sound like it was recent. Like
no,
this week.
No. It's been about 3 weeks. They were surprised how well
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it was a while back.
Jordan Mailata, they were surprised how well he sings. That's one of the things that came out of that whole thing.
Can you sing, Brian?
No, not at all.
Just wonder.
Your daughter can. Really good.
That's why she's going to Columbia.
She all right. Okay.
That's not really why she's going to Columbia.
No, that's not why she's going to Columbia.
But
she's going to be using her brain up there.
I did want to ask you, though, because we talk about the difference between, now they're not playing with Jalen Hurts. And
right.
we didn't play them with Dak.
Right.
If you're the Eagles, are you preparing any differently than what you already did when you played them, when they played us?
Yeah, I think
against
so.
Cooper
Yeah, I
Rush?
think so. Because
what changes there? As far as what
Nick's
you're looking
talking
at?
about the mobile quarterback. You have to know that. Listen, with Cooper Rush, he's going to stand there, but the ball's going to come out quick. So that's one thing that you're dealing with right there. With Dak, it's like, okay, rush lanes, keeping him there. Don't let him spin. I mean, the one touchdown that they had, the Noah Brown touchdown, the second one where he spun out of there, that's not a Cooper Rush play.
Right.
That's a Dak Prescott. So if you're these ends, if you're Sweat or Hassan Reddick and those guys, and you're like run up the field, or you cut inside and you let him spin, that's something you're like, hey, you have to be careful. You can't just go flying inside and try and get to the ball because this quarterback will spin on you right or left in order to go make a throw. So that in their mind, they have to prep differently for that. And maybe you play your front a little differently to try and kind of keep it a little bit wider, and then so you don't have the ability for the quarterback to move.
I did also want to ask you guys your opinion on this. So we've been talking about Dak and the interceptions for a while now, and it's just constant. And I think that this week especially, it's been all over the place. Dak, interceptions, this and that. And we keep hearing Dak and Mike McCarthy, they're just going to keep playing the way that they are. He's going to stay aggressive. He's going to go out there and be aggressive, and that's not going to change. But it makes me wonder, because it is, and I know they say they don't listen to the outside noise, but it's hard to get away from that. It's hard to
They're lying
stay
to you.
focused.
They listen. They know.
And they know.
They know.
But
yeah.
so my question is, do you think that it does get to a point where maybe mentally for Dak himself, this is maybe it gets to a point where it starts messing with his head? And although he's saying he's going to be aggressive, now he's becoming a little more hesitant or trying to be smarter with his decision making when throwing some of those passes.
I don't even think a little bit
him.
because as he said, I think it was yesterday when the media was talking to him, he's like, not to be conceited, but I'm pretty mentally tough. And I think he is. I think he's one of those guys.
That's what I was looking for.
He's one of those guys that's very mentally, everything we've seen since the moment he got here, he doesn't seem to be fazed by the moment. Mm-hmm. And so I don't expect it to change him in one bit. And by the way, there's a lot of talk out there about that. There's also, and you guys see it, we're all on Twitter. We see the world and see all the people that are talking about this. For as many people as you have that are killing him about the interceptions, you have just as many people that are saying, slow down just a little bit. A lot of these interceptions aren't his fault. Mm-hmm. So don't make the narrative that the Cowboys lost that game because of Dak Prescott, because that wasn't the case. Dak Prescott played a really good game. And so I think he probably, if he hears any of it, he probably hears the positive too. I think he dismisses it all as, look, I'm just playing my game. I'm gonna keep doing what I do, and however it turns out is how it turns out. I don't think it will faze him one bit. That's my opinion.
I don't either. I mean, but I wonder about it though a little bit. I do wonder if what he's thinking here as he throws the ball over the middle, and is he a little bit gun shy here and there, and the question is valid because it's like maybe you should be like when does it creep into your head and because you should be, that's always this double-edged sword because it's like, well, on one hand, not like it's kind of like all these slow starts. It's like we're not worried about slow starts because we know we can come back. But if you keep just thinking, it'll be fine, maybe it isn't.
So let me ask you this: let's go to that last game, the 2 interceptions. What should he have done something different in either of those 2 situations?
Well, he shouldn't have thrown the first one over. He shouldn't have just kind of lofted it up there over the middle.
But I think the ball fluttered because his arm got hit. And that's where I know there's kind of this. Did his arm get hit? To me, it looks very clear that his arm got hit.
He got hit from behind.
Yeah,
that's the
and
thing.
So
and it pushed him forward to make it.
And that's why I think the ball kind of floated. Because if you watch the ball isn't a spiral. It's kind of like this fluttering kind of thing. I don't think an NFL quarterback just makes that throw without being affected, right?
Yeah. Well, it's the situation, I think, of that, like, throw it away. If you feel like things are not good. I can't remember the last time Dak just threw a ball away.
Yeah.
That remember.
So in that instance, you would have wanted him because of the pressure around him.
It's 2nd and 18.
Yeah.
Take a sack again. Just go ahead and I remember we had this problem with Tony Romo. Remember, it was like he's always trying to, and then finally, like the fans would cheer when he throw a ball away, or it might have been Romo. Somebody was having trouble where they wouldn't throw the ball away, and I can't remember the last time that Dak just said, heck with this, boom,
He's playing a lot like Tony Romo right now.
Yeah,
really is.
Yeah, that's spin out. That's vintage Tony Romo.
But it's not just that. It's being a little bit aggressive and thinking, I can make that play.
Yeah.
Yes, you can, and you've done it before. Some maybe in high school, college, sometime here in the pros. But they make plays as well, and you have to kind of live with it. You're going to live with because Romo could make some great plays, and then you make some that make you just pull your hair out. And Dak's sort of doing that kind of stuff too.
The best example for me of the game the other day was when I talk about the ball that went up the sidelines to Pollard.
Mm-hmm.
And it's now a crazy 50-50 ball. And if you just fire it to Noah Brown and hopefully he catch it, he probably will. He can catch it. It's going to be a first down, and you keep playing. Instead now it's a fourth down, and you have to kick a field goal.
And honestly, those are the kind of plays I look at where I'm like more critical of Dak than either of those two interceptions.
That part of it's fair.
Yeah, even in the instance of the first interception where his arm got hit, there was an open receiver in front of him.
He was open, and he pulled it back.
And he did. And even when he threw it, he was still open. Like the tight end was still open. He could have completed that pass. It's just that, and I want my quarterback to not be so distressed by the fact that there's traffic around him that he just thinks, well, let me just get rid of it. Like, I want him to make the play.
Yeah, but if you're not sure, eat it or throw it away.
Okay.
That's the thing. When you double clutch it, you're like, I'm not sure. I'm going to try it now. And you're like, you're getting hit. That's the problem.
We seemingly only talk about the plays that don't go his way.
Yeah.
There's times where he's doing risky things and gets away with it. Like the touchdown pass to Noah Brown, the first one, he rolls right.
He threw the hardest throw was the three. He
throws it back,
front, middle, back, and
it's
like, let's just throw in the traffic back here.
It's almost like okay, who doesn't have a Christmas present? Like I haven't one to Schultz. I haven't given one to Brown lately. Let's go.
And everybody cheers, and everybody's like, "That's awesome.
That's what I'm saying.
Great."
That was the hardest throw he could have made right there.
I don't want to take the aggressiveness out of him because I think that's part of what makes him a good quarterback. And by the way, every good quarterback in the NFL, it's the difference between a Cooper Rush and a Dak Prescott. Is Cooper Rush is just going to manage. This is where I get into the management of the game. He's going to manage the game. He's not going to take those risks, which means he's not going to have the interceptions, but at the same time, he might not have those wild plays either. He might not extend that drive or have that touchdown throw because he's not willing to make that throw that might be a little risky. Yeah. I want Dak to keep that. And if that means that he gets hit from behind and the ball flutters and it's an interception, I'll live with that. Only do it in certain situations. He should be aware of where we are in the game and what they need at that moment in the game. But I don't want to take his aggressiveness. I really don't.
No. Yeah. There's a balance there. It's a balance. He's got to. That's what the quarterback did.
Please don't turn the ball over anymore. That's all I ask. That's all I want for Christmas.
Well, you got to the question. That was going to be the next question. We were going to take a break, and I was going to ask you guys what your Christmas wish is for this team. Let's take a break. Let's come back. I want to hear what your Christmas wish is for the team. It can only be one, and we'll see what you guys say. We'll come back. DallasCowboys.com radio.
The season is finally here. For months, we've been gearing up to win. Now it's time for the team that performs on any field. United Ag and Turf. With John Deere Zero Turns for mowing, compact tractors for loading, mini excavators for digging, Gator utility vehicles for hauling, implements for grading, hay tools for baling. United Ag and Turf. For winning. The official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com for more.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
This sweet! Did you get to work on time?
Yeah, but I just realized it's Sunday.
Little Sweet says head on home. Dr. Pepper's on its way. So sweet, unique. Baby, there's nothing better. I bet you've probably done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper. Did you invest your nest egg in an NFT?
Yeah, and I don't even know what that is. It's a non-fungible token.
Everyone's done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper.
When you build, you start with the foundation. And home ownership is a foundation of a stable future. The The Bank of America Community Homeownership Commitment has helped over 34,000 people lay the groundwork so far, with up to $10,000 towards your down payment or 3% of the purchase price, whichever is less. The satisfaction of owning your own place can become a reality. Visit bankofamerica.com/homeowner to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. Equal Housing Lender. Credit and collateral is subject to approval. Restrictions apply. This is not a commitment to lend.
Back to the break.
Give the gift of the Cowboys this holiday season with a Dallas Cowboys United membership. Gift your superfan an annual fan club membership and a fan pack for as little as $20. 'Tis the season. Learn more at DallasCowboys.com/United.
Welcome back. This is the final segment of the break, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star, presented by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. It's Christmas time. I want you guys to tell me, what do you think is, or what would be your Christmas wish? It can't be a Super Bowl. What I want to know is what can get them closest to a Super Bowl. If you could do one thing, if there was one wish that could come true, what would you wish for this team? Nick, let's start with you.
I would wish that one of those cornerbacks that's going to be playing actually turns into the player that they were drafted for. Because they have a fourth round, they have some second rounds, they have some guys that were, and that includes Kelvin Joseph as well. That includes Nahshon Wright. These guys that are in the mix here have all at some point been considered good players. I need one of them. One of them to act like
the odds sound like it should work, right? You just need one.
There's a great line in the movie Rudy. I love it. You never seen Rudy?
No.
Oh my Lord. But anyways, when the guy comes in,
it's one of the few I've seen.
He's trying to give the jerseys.
Yeah.
He's trying to they're trying to get Rudy to play in the game, and he's like, here you go, and he's like, you're a captain and an All-American. Act like it. That's what I want. One of those corners, act like it. Act like the second, third, fourth round pick that you were picked for. I just need one of you. Make a play.
Just one.
Make a few plays, please.
Just one.
That's my Christmas wish.
I'm going to change mine. I just want the pass rush to come back.
Ugh, yes.
I just want it. I just want to see quarterbacks struggling in negative yardage situations. I want to see sacks. I want to see balls knocked in the air. I want to see all that. I want to see guys twisting and getting home and causing problems. I think the offense is going to be fine. Just give me my pass rush back, please.
I have one more wish after you.
You only get one.
No, I have another one, and you guys will appreciate it.
He's that greedy kid, right? He's that greedy kid that would open his present and be like, I really wanted this, right?
I have another one, too.
Go ahead, Amber.
Well, I was going to say, other than corner, and along with the pass rush, I would wish Micah Parsons to be Micah Parsons again. Full on, 100% aggressive Micah Parsons, because usually when he's having a good game, you got that in the bag. The Cowboys win for the most part. So
I think if I get my wish, y'all get y'all's wish. Honestly,
What?
The pass rush and Micah Parsons. I think if I get my wish of that cornerback play, these corners are playing well. This third corner steps up and plays well. I think the pass rush and Micah goes together. But I think I need to get mine.
The fact of the matter is,
because that's when he was playing well when those corners were there.
You can say what you want about Anthony Brown. When Anthony Brown was out there, everything was clicking.
Oh, is it? Because when I said that several weeks ago, you made a face like,
what are you talking about?
Anthony, we got it recorded.
Probably was. But what'd I say? What'd I say?
I said, maybe I forgot what I said, but something about missing Anthony Brown and like he's not as terrible. Yes, he gives up some plays, but he's not as terrible as people say. And you made a face.
I didn't give you a face on Anthony Brown. No.
Yes, because
I actually believe that statement.
I've been dodging all Anthony Brown because I kind of said he was going to be like kind of a Pro Bowl guy.
That's the thing. The criticism about Anthony Brown is fair criticism.
Yeah.
So, but then again.
But he's not as bad as people say he is.
When you compare it to what you got.
Right. Honestly, this is a Doug Free type situation, right? Because I remember people used to be so livid with Doug Free, and I'm like, Doug Free, he's not a Pro Bowl type guy, but he's not as bad as y'all think. Like, there are a lot of worse tackles you could have out there on the right side, and I think it's the same thing for Anthony Brown. Anthony Brown isn't great, but Anthony Brown, as we're seeing, he might give up a play or two deep every game. But if that's all he's giving up, I'll take that. If the rest of the time he's at least covering things to where my pass rush can get home. which right now I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Anthony Brown was Larry Brown back in the day. I mean, that was Larry Brown to a T. I mean, he had this star on the other side. He gave up some plays every now and again. He makes some as well.
Yeah.
He didn't kill you that much.
Yeah.
But the problem is that he would make some. He would be contested, he competes, and I just don't think they have anyone else that can do that right now.
Well, Bland is doing it.
I know, you're right, and they need.
And that's why I say I'd like to see him slide on out and
I appreciate
slide out to the outside.
I appreciate the acknowledgement on Twitter about that, Derek. I really do.
What's your Christmas wish?
My Christmas wish? I think it's actually what I thought about, the same thing you were talking about. But if I had to do something different, I would probably say that my head coach would be a little more
demanding.
Yeah, in certain situations. I want him to think about the game a little bit deeper and make sure that his coordinators are on top of that in the same way. I look at that situation that you had on 3rd and 10. I want my head coach to say, don't have a problem with the pass. I need a better option.
Yeah.
Give me a better option for a pass there than a deep ball to Noah.
Yeah.
Like I want my head coach I want him to force them to think a little different about certain situations
I agree.
rather than maybe whatever they're thinking about in those kind of situations.
It's amazing how far we've come here now that we've talked about this defense was so good and all that. Now we're kind of talking about wishing for things for the defense. And, but it's, to me, I agree with you, Derek. I think with Mike McCarthy, I just like him to click over and tell Kellen, listen, he goes, you know what do you got going on 3rd down? He goes, I'm thinking about going all go here. He goes, no, you're not. We're going to think about something different there.
Yeah.
Give
me another one.
Give me another one. What else you got?
Good try.
Where's that waggle you got? I need to keep this clock going here. Okay.
And we're assuming, and just in fairness to Kellen, we're assuming that the head coach wasn't the one that said, let's go for it.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
He might have been the one to say, let's go deep.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is I want somebody to inject a little more
Sounded
thought
like
into that and say, let's do something a little different here.
Yeah, he sounded like he did. He was fine with that.
Yeah.
Going deep.
No moss. I think they called it.
And let's be clear too. I know there's a somebody put this out this morning that they think Mike McCarthy's in trouble. I think that's foolish. I think the fact that they are where they are right now with almost half the season with a backup quarterback, I think that is absolutely foolish. Mike McCarthy has had a great season. I know that call, and you can pick out other moments, but guess what? Every coach in the NFL has those moments. Every single one where you will disagree with what they have done or decisions that they've made. It's a part of it. It's a part of the job. I think he's had a phenomenal year.
I think if you lose to the NFC South in a playoff game, the coordinator might be the guy that we see maybe something
depending
different.
on how it plays out. Yeah,
you lose a game to the NFC South in the playoff game, I think then maybe you'll think something different there. Maybe not the head coach, but the coordinator maybe.
All right, let's get to predictions. What do we got? Brian, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I got Philadelphia 31, Dallas 24. I just feel like Gardner Minshew is not a bad backup quarterback. He's very accurate. Go look at the numbers and stuff. They'll still run the offense, the quick game, the passing game. They still got all their guys. They got their tight ends. They got their receivers. They got their offensive line. It's going to be tough for you. Their defense is completely healthy, too. I think that you have some advantages with the offensive line as far as your offensive line maybe getting some things done. I just see too many playmakers on a team right now that the Cowboys having to deal with that. 31-24 Eagles.
Yeah, I've got Eagles as well. Yep. I've got Eagles 28-26. Kind of weird, long, high-scoring game, but kind of a weird game. And I agree. I think if Houston's quarterbacks can give you trouble, I think this guy can give you trouble as well. I think that they are a very complete team. They got a lot of stuff going on, and not just him. And I also believe that the Cowboys' defense played their best football when Cooper Rush was in the game. I think they rallied around him, and I think the Eagles are good enough to kind of do the same. And so I think that you're going to get the Eagles' best outside of the quarterback position, and that's scary when you think about what the Cowboys have on defense.
This is a hat and T-shirt game for them.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Amber?
Well, I believe in miracles, and it is the Christmas time of the year. And although my head is telling me one thing, my heart is telling me another. And I think that sometimes the Cowboys can make some magic happen out of nowhere that no one expects. I think this could be one of those games where they do go out there and win against the Eagles. Now, this doesn't mean that all their problems would be fixed because of a win against the Eagles. I think they would still have those problems. But I could see some magic happening, and Cowboys win 27, a weird score, 27-23, something like that.
I actually think this game, I'll start with this. Right now, to me, the strength of this team is their offensive line. And I personally think this offensive line strength is running the ball. I think Dallas is going to come into this game, and Dallas is going to say, we're going to run the ball, because I think it helps them in every other facet of their game. They are good runners. They have good runners. They have a good offensive line that can run the ball. It keeps the ball away from the Philadelphia offense, where you might be afraid of what you got in the secondary. I think everything about it makes a ton of sense. I think this is a game where Dallas runs the ball, they control the clock, and that's how they end up winning this game. I think it'll be a lower scoring game than what we would expect from these two teams that have offenses that you think of as high-powered offenses. I think Dallas wins 17-16 in a game that will seem methodical, slow, may pick up at the end, but I think they win that game 17-16. All right, appreciate you guys joining us.
You guys are right.
We will be back. We will be back on Monday. Let you know what went right and wrong for the Cowboys. We will not have a show tomorrow. Make sure you check us out on Monday. Till then, you guys have a Merry Christmas. For Nick Eatman, Brian Broaddus, Amber Garcia, I'm Derek Eagleton. This has been The Break, live on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!